Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's, of course, me, Mitch, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Good to see you all. Drink it if you got it. Wow, that tasted good. Oh, God. Especially tasted good this morning because, as you can see, I'm wearing a sweatshirt out here. It's in the 60s. It was like 63 when I came out here this morning. This is the first one of those days, and we've got a bigger cold front coming in a few more days. And you'll probably see me out here because I'm going to be out here, maybe even with a hoodie. I don't know. I will have more fashion options available to me, which is going to be maybe less boring for you than seeing me always in one of maybe 5 or 10 different message t-shirts that I have. So it's good to see you all. God, the chat is chatting away. People are coming in. We got 17 people here already watching on Rumble. Welcome to you guys. I'm watching the chat over there. I'll say hi to you in a few minutes. And I see 46 people so far. Not a bad start for first thing. Ellen and I were talking yesterday about something we've noticed, that the further we get into this, the busier and busier it seems to get. And I think that's just because it's early. And as people are waking up across the country, they're chiming in. I think maybe we should wait till 9, and then I say no, but I'm going to keep it at 8:30. I think this timing works out great for me as well. Ellen's been busy in the chat, and Ellen is sitting waiting to make her grand entrance this morning. So, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mitch.
How are you this morning?
I'm great, and good morning, everyone in chat. I'm starting to say hi to everyone. Well, I'm great. The sun is just coming up here in my living room up in Wisconsin.
Yeah, you're an hour behind.
I'm an hour behind. So it is
7:30.
7:30 here, yes.
Yeah, I love this time change because now daylight breaks here about 6 o'clock in the morning instead of 7 o'clock in the morning, and I really like that better.
That helps.
Yeah.
A little less darkness. So happy weekend, everyone. Tell me what you're doing this weekend in the chat.
Yeah, as if you're not busy enough answering these things. Holy cow, look at all of this. Look at the chat that's happened so far. Wow. And I'm going to, while you're here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to just acknowledge the first people that were here because it's just so absurd. Mike Seeley from Tampa was here at 4:44 a.m. It says, greetings from Tampa Bay.
Our early birds, and Peter.
And Peter was here. And Peter was here at 6 a.m. Peter was here at 6 a.m. and says, good morning, everyone. I wasn't able to be here yesterday. Did you miss me?
Oh, yes, I missed you, Peter.
I was going to say, oh, was Peter not here yesterday? No, Peter, we of course, an old expression really applies here, and that is, Peter, you were conspicuous by your absence.
Oh, yes, I like that.
Yes.
And quite true. Very true.
Yes. So, and then he says, oh man, I love it. Did anyone miss me? I wonder, did anybody answer that in the chat and say, yes, Peter, we missed you yesterday?
I did.
Okay. Well, that's great. So let's get on with it today. You told me you got a slew of questions left over, but that's okay because ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions, and I'm going to tell you why as I get into it after we elevate Ellen to the penthouse, and I get on with it. I get on with it. So we have more and more time to answer these questions. And hopefully I can put out useful information. I think yesterday's live stream was fabulous. I watched the replay, read through the chat. I was really, really happy with the way it went. Happy with the way it went. And overwhelmingly, most of the responses to my question, should I keep spending all this time, putting people's names on the screen, or should I just get to it, say a quick hello to the people and then go on? It was get to it, Mitch, and I can understand that. I can understand that. And I've always been trying to balance the viewers' wishes, and it's nice to see your name on the screen, but I think most people watch these, especially they watch the replays. And when you watch a replay, I can imagine it's a little boring to hear me go through 20 minutes of saying hi to the same people every morning. So you know how much I appreciate you being here. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go through the hellos real quick. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the chat. I'm not going to put them on the screen. What I'm going to do is just say hi to them. A lot of people were here early. Turamir, hello, Mitch. Got back home and all good, except my TV screen got broken when I was going. Sorry to hear that, Tuka. But, boy, it's good to hear that you made it back home safe without a whole lot of delays and grief. And I really hope. I can't believe 2 weeks went by that fast, man, and really glad that you enjoyed it. Mike Seeley Sr. chimed in early, and I'm going to go past a lot of the early birds here. And Sandy Blythe is here. Good morning to you. Marcia, Chessie's Adventures. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. I definitely know you're here. I read the replays. The chat's in the replay. Meathead is here. Meathead was very, very prolific this morning. Terry Sue, good morning to you. Good morning to you. And Meathead and Marshall were chatting away. Trucking Carnivores here. Good to see you, Lori. Lori's Carnivore Story. Satya. Hey, good morning, all the usual suspects. Mama Bear. How you doing, Mama Bear? Good to see you. Tom from Tampa. Viking 442. Good to see you. Free Texanet Rhonda. Ha. Hi, Rhonda. How you doing this morning? Terry Sue is here. Good to see you. And I hope I think I remembered Rhonda correctly, but I got to keep trying. I think I got it. DS111. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Eddie Edwards is here. Joseph Stevens. Had a question, Ellen. I'm sure you've probably written that down, and we'll get to it, about constipation on carnivore. Yes, a very, very, very common topic, and bathroom talk is certainly a very important part of this.
Yes, indeed.
Even though sometimes many people think it's too much information, it is important. Aunt B is here. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Pamela Suarez is here. How you doing? And Peter is here today.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Peter. And DS111 was the last one in the chat, and we got through that and dispatched it with great haste. How about that, Ellen? What do you think about that?
That was very efficient.
Okay, good. All right, 81 people here. And let me say hi to the people that I see over here on the Rumble chat. I see that I told you we had Mike Seeley Sr. was in here. Marcia after 60. Rod Weeder, good morning to you. Lori is in the chat over there. Mike Seeley Jr. is in there. And those are the people that are chatting away. 18 people in Rumble. 85 people here. Everybody's waking up. It's a gorgeous morning, and we are going to have a gorgeous weekend here in Florida. It's going to be dry, a little cooler. We're only going to go up to the mid-70s here in Melbourne today. I know that sounds tropical to so many people, but it's a welcome change, and I'm going to just revel in it. I got a whole page of show notes here and I doubt I'll get to all this today. But I just wanted to say some things. My first delivery of my coffee cups, and that's one for Ellen, one for me, is coming
Oh,
on
I can't
Monday. So
wait.
when my mail gets here on Monday afternoon, and my mail on Monday after the weekend never gets here till like 5:30, 6 o'clock. But Monday evening I will have a coffee cup, and hopefully Tuesday morning I can actually debut, drink coffee out of it, show it off. And I know that when you see this cup, you're all going to have one. Be a member of the Morning Coffee with Mitch Club. And I can retire these drab brown basic coffee cups that I have and start to have a little more variety. I will have repaired the cup from Mark Whistler, and I'll have that available. Hopefully I'll have that on Sunday morning, tomorrow morning, because the accelerant for the glue I'm going to use to fix it should arrive this afternoon from Amazon. We'll see. We'll see. I have a live stream this afternoon at 3 p.m.
That's
for those
right.
of you that just can't get enough of me. And Ellen. And
You can
Ellen,
have
especially Ellen.
two times of Mitch. 2 times of Mitch today.
Yeah. I wanted to comment something I found very, very interesting, and kind of I don't know if it's a little relieving, but it's nice to know there's a few people out there that feel the way I feel about organ meats. I know he made a video basically today saying that you don't need organ meats. He doesn't eat organ meats.
Oh, who made that?
Sean Baker.
Oh, okay.
And I knew he didn't eat organ meats. I know Anthony Chafee doesn't make a big deal out of organ meats. Ken Berry, on the other hand, thinks they're highly necessary and essential. But it seems that most of these really long-term carnivores don't. They eat them if they like it, and they don't eat it if they don't like it. I don't particularly like organ meats. I just never have. When I was a kid, my mother made liver and onions. I tolerated it, but certainly wouldn't go out of my way for it. I'm doing pretty good on carnivore without organ meat. Are they beneficial? Well, they can't hurt unless you overdo it, and I think some people do overdo it. I think they eat too much because it's been said that the ratio of organ meat you eat to muscle meat should be pretty much the same ratio that they appear in the animal. So if a big cow has maybe a pound or two of liver in it and 400 pounds of steak, then doesn't account for eating a lot of organ meat. I don't know. I think it's a personal thing, but I think that it's a money-making opportunity for so many influencers to create supplements, desiccated organ meats and this, and sell you these capsules. If you all remember the Liver King and all the controversy around him, it's been big business. And they've got people, like so much other what I think is information just blown way out of proportion. Scare tactics. It's just been a money-making opportunity. And like most supplements, you know how I feel about supplements. I think most of them are unnecessary, and the only supplements you need are what we think might not be in the meat we're eating because of our environment and how the soil was raped and these nutrients never got into the plants. It's the reason that I take iodine every day, and based on my blood work, and even though I'm in Florida, I probably don't get near enough sun. I do take a small amount of vitamin D every day, and electrolytes I think is something everybody needs to be wary of, and just watch out for leg cramps at night. That tells you maybe you should up your supplements, your electrolytes a little. But that's all I do. I watch videos. I see videos come across my feed every day, basically telling me that I need this, I need that, I need the other thing, and my phone just went ka-ching. All
Ka-ching.
right, and thank
So,
you, Peter. Thank you so much. You
oh,
certainly are not conspicuous by your absence today. Peter, Papa Carnivore, bought me a coffee. He says, enjoy a delicious cup of Joe on me, my friend. I
oh,
will. I
thank
will.
you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate those things. I really appreciate those things. Oh, another one. What do we got here? DJSCRA, DJ Scra. I don't know how I would pronounce that. Bought me a coffee also. Good morning, Mitch. I love having coffee with you every chance I get. Looking forward. Where is that? Looking forward to. There it is. Looking forward to my new mug. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and hopefully it's shipped. There should be a tracking number somewhere for you, but mine's coming Monday. I think about 10 coffee mugs were ordered, and I think
wow.
that's a good start, and I hope people enjoy it. And if the mugs are more popular than my T-shirts, which every once in a blue moon somebody buys a T-shirt or a sweatshirt, I will design some more of those things. It's pretty cool, and maybe people would use the coffee mugs more than the T-shirts. I wish I could make them cheaper. I mean, they're not absurd, but they are. By the time you pay shipping and all that, it's not the cheapest thing, but it's, when you compare it to the cost of a ribeye, it's not that bad. And the ribeye is gone, in a few minutes, and you got the coffee cup forever.
Forever. And
Yeah.
I put the link in the chat so anyone can order their very own.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Ellen. Ellen, I don't know if you realize it, guys, but Ellen really looks out for me, and I
Yeah.
really
Someone's
do.
got to. Someone's got to.
I really do appreciate that. Anything else I wanted to say here before we get to the questions? And that's great. It's not even 10 till yet, and we can start answering questions. We'll get a lot done today.
Oh,
Get
you
a
know what,
lot done.
Mitch?
Yes.
Oh, I just want to say something back to
Yeah,
about the liver because
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel the same way you do about the supplements, and I thought this was a great idea. I heard from someone if you do for any reason want to consume liver but don't like it, the taste of it, somebody said instead of buying, desiccated liver supplements, chop it up into some little cubes and swallow them. It kind of like pills in the freezer. Anyway,
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose there's ways to get it in you if you want. What a lot of
yeah,
people do. I
if
mean,
you have a reason. But anyway,
I think the best idea that I've heard about eating organ meat of all the ideas is to make what they call a warrior burger.
that's good also. Yes.
Yeah, just take some organ meat, and even if you buy hamburger, already ground up, it would help. I know I've got a little meat grinder. It wasn't expensive. It's on
Yes.
my Amazon page. I got it it was about 60 or 70 bucks, and it works great. But you can I mean, if you already have ground beef and you have a little meat grinder, you can grind up, you can go ahead and just grind up the organ meat and then take the organ meat and squish it all in and with the hamburger. And if you think you need to, you can run it all through the grinder again. You'll never taste it. And that's especially good for things like heart, kidney, liver, and the things that some people say, that's disgusting. I don't want to eat that. But you put it in a burger, you don't even know it's there. It's like me putting iodine in my coffee every morning. 2 drops of iodine in a cup of coffee. You don't taste it, don't know it's there. But I do get the iodine every day. 2 drops of Lugol's 2%. And can't hurt. It can't hurt. Whoa, look at this.
Whoa.
Someone says, someone who didn't put their name in there bought me a coffee. Mitch, it says, a coffee on me. Thank you so much, guys. Maybe Saturday is a good coffee day, but I appreciate that more than you know.
That's very nice.
Okay, I have some other things I wanted to talk about. I'm going to make one quick little observation, and it came to me yesterday on my live stream. I've a couple of times in the past, not very often, I thought that something I said on that live stream should have been said in a legacy video, a video that wouldn't just die the next morning and never be seen again. Also on these live streams, I do get good attendance, and with the replays, they usually hover, in 800, 900, 1,000. Some of them end up with 1,500 total views for some reason. But when you think about all the people that come and go, that doesn't mean 1,500 people saw the whole 1 hour. So when I figure how many people actually saw what I thought was a particularly insightful answer to a question that I just popped off spontaneously, which is what I do on these streams. Especially ones where I use some of these wild analogies I do to make these concepts more understandable. I thought I should have given that speech in a standalone video. And usually those are shorter, because I usually don't spend any more than 4 or 5 minutes answering any questions. I noticed that Anthony Chafee, the brunt of the stuff that he puts out on his channel are excerpts or cuts from his live streams where he's answered a particularly interesting question, something he may not have thought of to make a video out of, and he does real well with that. I said, I'm going to start doing more of that. In fact, I'm going to start doing a lot of that because I want these things, which are important for all of us struggling to maintain this, to know and think about, and maybe give you a little deeper understanding of why you're struggling, why you're going through these horrible cravings, or even a way of understanding some incredibly complex biochemistry by equating it, like I usually do, to how a car works or how a computer works. So you're going to start seeing more and more of this stuff. I hope I don't overdo it, but for me, I can make those kind of videos a lot quicker, and I think that message will have an opportunity not only to spread, but to be available. And they're going to look like regular videos, but don't be disappointed if you see it's an excerpt from a live stream. And if I made a video out of it, then, and you've already heard it, then it's going to be a message that it probably wouldn't hurt to hear again. And it's going to be there'll be shorter videos. And I'm constantly looking for better ways and more effective ways to get this information out there, to get some of my own opinions out there, things that I just don't hear anywhere else. They seem to be working. They certainly work for me. And my prime reason for putting all this energy into this is to help everybody who is trying so hard to overcome these horrible addictions and habits that they have, especially if they're immersed in the sugar culture and can't escape it like I was able to do it. It's so much harder for you guys. So look out for those things. Okay, Ellen, what do we
Yes.
got?
Okay,
What do we got?
get on with the questions. Well, okay, let's see. I'm going to go in order, okay? Mitch Moolicious asks, how or do you calculate fat to protein ratio? Easiest way. Also wondering why people get rid of most of bacon fat when cooking. Pour it out. This is seems like a person would immediately use. So I guess
Great question.
A couple of questions.
That's
there.
okay. Great question, but they are related, and
Yes.
one of them ties really nicely in with the other. Let me answer the second one first. The second one said, "Why do people pour it out?" It's beyond me. Beyond me. What was it? $15-20 if at most on my Amazon page. I've got a bacon grease, a grease catcher. It's a stainless steel tub. It has a fine mesh stainless steel filter in the top. You just take, and I usually when I cook bacon, I usually pour about half of the bacon grease, because I'm telling you, when you cook that right thick bacon, especially 4 or 5, maybe even 6 slices of it like I do, you generate a ton of bacon grease, and I save it, and then I cook my eggs in what grease is left and I use the Mueller pan. And then when the eggs soak up most of the rest of the grease, the pan is pretty clean when you're done. You just I never wash it. I just wipe it out with a paper towel. But I save all that stuff because I use it to fry all the stuff that I fry, the pork rind coated stuff. So yes, you're absolutely right. The main question was, how do I know that I'm getting the proper ratio? And how do we know? Well, nature kind of does that for you. Back in the early days, and I'm talking about before the agricultural revolution, and that wasn't that long ago geological and evolutionary time. But for millions of years, from the first of our human species, they call that genus Homo, from the days, and you've heard these, of Homo erectus, Homo naledi, no Homo, all the homos. They were all homos back then. We're homos too. We're Homo sapien sapiens. Uh, they just ate big fat animals. And coincidentally, the ratio of fat to protein in what they ate in those animals was exactly what they needed. Now, the question is, if you think about things the way I think about things in evolutionary terms, it's the old, which came first, the forest or the trees? Did humans, is it a coincidence that the fat to protein ratio in their food source coincidentally was what they needed? Or was the fact that their physiology adapted and performed best on the fat to protein ratio that had been around since long before there was such a thing as genus Homo? Because those big fat animals were around long before the first human ever peeked his head out. And that's the truth. We adapted to our environment, and to find out what we need, you look at that environment as it was while we were adapting. And the fat to ratio in most fatty animals in nature is exactly what we need. And that's true today as well. So when you eat bacon, the fat to protein ratio is correct. When you eat fatty meat, like a ribeye or a chuck steak or a brisket or anything other than the lean, what they call loin cuts, the New York strips, the filet mignons, the fat to protein ratio is exactly. So that's the place you should start. You should start by just saying, I'm going to eat the meats that are fatty meats. Now, a lot of people don't eat all the fat on a ribeye. I'm one of them. So I add a little fat. I'll sear it off in butter or put some butter on top of it. And the gauge of whether we're getting the appropriate amount of fat takes us back to the bathroom talk. The consistency of your stools. That's your indicator. Just like getting leg cramps at night is an indicator of whether you're getting enough electrolytes. If you're constipated and your stools are too hard, odds are there's something exogenous causing it, like you're still on some drugs maybe that constipate you or other things. But if you're not, then that tells you pretty precisely, add some fat. If you have loose stools or diarrhea or anything like that, you're probably eating too much fat, or you haven't fully adapted to carnivore yet, because that's a very common thing in the first week or two of people who go on carnivore. There's a lot of bathroom adventures. Don't try to figure out exactly how you should be eating until you get adapted to this, because who knows what's causing what when you're trying to get adapted. So the answer to that question is very simple. It's nature packages it appropriately, always has, and we adapted to that packaging as we evolved as a species. Okay? I hope that answers that.
That's perfect, and a perfect segue into the other question that you mentioned, which you partially addressed a little bit, from Joseph Stevens.
Okay.
Who is saying, I get constipated on carnivore. How do I resolve the constipation?
Okay.
Mark, maybe more fat?
That's a great question, and it's a complex answer. And one of the main things that I don't hear too many people talk about, but something I noticed for myself is, are you really constipated? or are you just not going to the bathroom?
Mm.
Because we mix those terms up. We're so used to eating all this fiber and stuff, our body can't wait to get rid of that. The normal American is taking a dump once or twice a day. They encourage it. The vegetarians do. Dr. Kellogg, back at his Battle Creek Sanitarium, was encouraging people telling them that if they didn't have humongous steaming dumps 2-3 times a day, that they couldn't possibly be healthy. And here we come. And the reason they're having all these huge dumps is, and I use the word dumps to be, you know, I don't think that's too bad a word to use. The reason they were having all these is because all they ate was shit their body. There you go. I had to say it. No pun
That's okay.
intended.
This is an adult audience.
And I can say crap too, and I'd still be right on target. All the crap that they're eating is stuff their body doesn't need, can't wait to get rid of. And we've been so misled into thinking that all this fiber is necessary for good health and good digestive health that we've become a nation full of people with digestive issues. And we've gotten Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis and irritable bowel syndrome. And we get plugged up and we get bowel blockages and diverticulosis, which is what happened to me when you just keep jamming your colon full of stuff and it starts expanding until it outpouches has a little almost colon aneurysm kind of a thing. And that's all because we're eating too much fiber. And we know from all of the first-hand information we've gotten from people like Lee Copus, Kent Carnivore over there, who lost his colon and really learned what's necessary and how destructive fiber is, and what really ends up not being used by the body and getting dumped into the waste bin. That we don't need fiber at all. It is a more harmful thing for us, and yet they keep pushing the Metamucil and all the fiber laxatives, and that just makes and I was a victim of that. It just made it worse and worse and worse, and I was so terribly constipated. Constipation means your stools are hard and round, and you got to really strain to get them out, and that straining just causes hemorrhoids, so nothing ends well if you're constipated. But so many people think constipation means I haven't gone to the bathroom in 2 days. They think it means they're constipated. So that's not constipation. So if your stools are hard and they're, it's an effort to have a bowel movement, yes, chances are you really need to up your fat. If you haven't had gallbladder issues, that should work fine. Some people who've had to have their gallbladder removed, takes them a while to get used to a high-fat diet because their gallbladder is a reservoir for bile made in the liver, and the biliary duct in people who've had their gallbladder removed will kind of expand and blow up and be a de facto reservoir. And you can, after that happens, and it takes a little while, you can go on living a perfectly normal life as if you had a gallbladder. But until then, you're going to have problems digesting fat. Most cases that leads to diarrhea rather than constipation, but who knows? Some people go both ways. So add fat if your stools are hard. But if you're just not going to the bathroom, it's not uncommon. And for me, when I first started carnivore, I went about once a week. That was it. I didn't feel bloated. I didn't have discomfort, but I was worried as hell. What the hell is wrong? Why am I not going to the bathroom? And it turns out that when you're eating nothing but meat and animal products, you're not creating waste. Your body is digesting just about 100% of that stuff if you follow a few simple rules. And one of those is don't drink a lot of liquids when you're eating meat. You don't need to drink 24 ounces of liquid, water or whatever you're drinking while you're eating, because all you're doing is diluting your stomach acid and inhibiting your digestion. Of Carbohydrates and plants have anti-nutrients in them, which bind to the nutrients and turn them into garbage, and then they try to pass their way through. But when you're eating no plants whatsoever, no plants, you will not have waste. You're not eating wood and cellulose and the landscaping from in front of your house. You are eating only nutrients, and they get completely broken down in digestion. And by the time they get down to your ileum, which is the bottom of your small intestine, there's nothing left of them to go into your colon. And what it takes is maybe it can take a week for your colon to accumulate all the waste products generated by your body during periods of autophagy, when it's cleaning out the dead cells and the damaged proteins. As I progressed on carnivore, and as I think my colon shrank a lot, because most of us have got big blown out colons, and from all the abuse over all those years of eating all of those plants, I think my colon has shrunk, and as it shrinks, then my bowel movements become more frequently, and now I'm on a every 2 to 4 day schedule. I don't worry about it. I don't force it. I get an urge, and if I miss it, I know the urge will come back later or tomorrow. It's no panic to say, oh my God, I got to go. And if I miss this opportunity, it'll be a month before it happens again. No, you will settle down, but it took years on carnivore for my digestive system to normalize. And obviously, I don't measure my fat. I don't weigh anything. I don't count grams of anything. I just keep it as simple as possible. And I've settled into a routine that I don't even have to think about. And everything works like it's never worked in my entire life. I wish I had discovered this so much earlier. I hope that answers your question thoroughly.
That was very thorough. Should we ready for the next one?
Yeah, but I forgot something.
Oh, did you
something very important is
yes.
looking at me, and it wants to be involved this morning. So if you give me 1 minute and
I will give
excuse
you
me
as much time as you need.
while I light my
Everybody
cigar,
get your,
Ellen will
lymph-
dance up there
lymph flowing.
and enjoy
Cup down.
enjoy the happy music. I don't know, Ellen, I simply cannot sit still to this music.
No
My leg is gone, my feet's tapping. Crazy.
It just compels the body to move.
It does. Thank you very much for your patience, my friends. Okay, next question.
Into Mitch. Let's see, I should be ready right away. Okay, moving on to a different topic. Meatitudes asks, Mitch, what do you do with all the eggshells after you put them in that plastic bag?
I save them in a plastic bag because I don't have a garbage disposal. So I put all my garbage in a plastic bag. And it takes me usually a day by the time I get done with all the things like that I think might smell if I threw them in the trash can, including paper towels that I may have used to wipe up. Yeah, like yesterday, I did a video which will come out this afternoon about how I prep for a month. I prep for my carnivore meals about a month at a time. About once a month, I go through this routine. And I didn't show you the whole routine, but I did talk about how easy it is and how thoughtless you can be, and just how fast you can do it. And the title of the video is something like how I prep for a month of carnivore eating in less than an hour. And that's about what I spend. About an hour of my time every month actually preparing, portioning, vacuum sealing, and even in the final analysis, I'm actually pre-planning my entire menu for the next month in about an hour. And then every day when I eat, it's just a matter of grabbing a pre-portioned package of something out of the freezer, the day before, I throw it in the refrigerator by the next day. And I made a video about that, and I hope you find it. I hope you find it interesting. So that's coming out this afternoon. Uh, the question was,
What do
how
you do with
often,
the
what do I
eggshells?
do with the bag? Okay, okay, the eggshells. Yeah, I use, try to use leftover Ziploc bags that maybe I had stored something in. And even sometimes I'll take a brand new one. They're cheap. And that's my garbage bag for the day. And anything might be smelly, anything that, for example, I'll tell you when I deep fry something in bacon grease and have a whole bunch of bacon grease when I'm done, I pour it right into that Ziploc bag and just seal it up, and I throw it in my trash can. That's all. Once it's done, put it in the trash can and get a new bag for the next day. And it works great. I don't want a garbage disposal. I don't want to pour any grease down my drain in my sink because it will clog my sewer pipes. And I'm very, very conscious about that. So I pour them in the plastic bags. Just something I got in the habit of doing, and it seems to work. That was an easy one.
That was an easy one. Okay. Let's go on to, I'm going to start pulling from some of the old ones. So if anyone has, I'm not seeing anymore, I'll have to scroll hopefully if I didn't miss a question.
Yeah, don't stop asking questions because
There was one.
we'll
Actually, I'm gonna give you this one because it's kind of interesting. And oh, I lost it. I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna say it, then I'll go back and find the name.
okay.
Because someone asked a question about soap. Using, and I wasn't sure if it was for you or the group, but why not you also?
Why not?
Someone asked. Right. What kind of soap? What kind of soap? What do you use? What kind of soap do you use? Yeah.
Well,
I'll go
that
back and
you know, of course.
start with that soap.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I used like Dawn to wash my dishes, and of course that's my hands come in contact with that. But I think that's pretty benign and mild. Uh, I don't use much soap. I do not use any kind of a antiseptic or disinfectant or any products that claim just to kill bacteria. I don't use mouthwash. I subscribe to exactly what Ken Berry says, is that when you're healthy, all the bacteria that you have are beneficial and have we have a relationship with them. They do things that are useful to us. That's why carnivores don't stink. That's why they don't have body odor. You have an oral biome in your mouth, which helps prevent tooth decay and things like that. If you're healthy, you don't want to kill that. So I don't use mouthwash. I don't use hand sanitizer whatsoever. I don't spray down my kitchen with Lysol. I rely on my immune system to deal with what we call harmful bacteria might be there. And by dealing with them, that keeps my immune system working. It's very important that we be exposed to these things. We have to be exposed to them. That's why kids today get so sick so often. Their immune systems have never had a chance to meet the enemy because their mother kills the enemy before their precious comes in contact with it. So the kids are not prepared to fight off the viruses, the bacterias, because their immune systems haven't learned to identify them because they've never seen most of them before. And that just leaves us, we may as well walk around in hazmat suits. And I think back to when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, we played in the dirt every day. We went out there.
Mm-hmm.
We were eating something and we dropped it in the dirt. We picked it up, brushed it off, and ate it. We weren't worried about what bacteria might have been on. We built immune systems. And by continually exposing myself to these things all my life, I keep reinforcing that immune system, and I never get sick. I ate the jinx it, but I don't get colds. I don't get the flu. That's what a vaccine does for you. If you're not going to expose yourself to this stuff, let's just inject you full of it so your immune system learns to recognize these things. And soaps today, antibacterial soaps,
Oh, yeah.
are horrible, and people think they need to lather themselves up every day. Let me tell you, my friends, and you may think this sounds disgusting or something, I take a shower once a week. Unless I've
That's great.
worked hard or went to the gym, and when I go to the gym, yeah, I'll take a shower afterwards, but I won't use soap. I'll just rinse myself off. Like Ken Berry, I will use a little soap on those certain areas of the body. And that's it. I don't wash my face with soap. I just rinse myself with water. Cavemen didn't have soap. And any soap that early humans, they made it out of animal products. They made soap out of tallow. If you remember the old joke about where do horses go, they go to the soap factory. We made soap out of animal products. We didn't make them out of chemicals that kill bacteria, which we need. And the reason I don't need to take a shower more than once a week, and believe me, I'm very conscious of being clean, is that I stay clean. I can just rinse myself off once in a while. I don't have any body odor. Nobody has ever gotten up next to me and complained or run away. I don't perspire as much as I used to. It's being healthy and properly and eating the proper nutrition. And most people won't admit it to you, but who says you have to take a shower every day and use antibacterial soap to make sure that you're pristine? You may as well just climb in a hazmat suit and live in it. It's crazy. I don't worry about that stuff. And interestingly, it's instinctual. I know when I probably need to rinse off or take a shower, and where I need to use soap and where I don't. When I do use soap, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but I don't use enough of it to even make any difference. I use Irish Spring.
Oh, I like that.
Because I like the smell of it. That's all. I mean,
I do too.
Yeah, so that's what I use. But I use so little. I buy the things on Amazon that come with like 12 or 16 bars of that stuff, and that's like almost like a lifetime supply for me.
Yeah, that will last a long time.
And generally, when it comes to washing my hands, they usually, I'll in the kitchen sink. I'll just squirt a little Dawn dish soap on them and wash them, and that's about it. That's about it. So that's a long answer to that question too.
Okay, great. Well, that's good because I actually found a couple more questions and I still didn't find the name of that person, but I will, and I will credit them.
Okay, good.
Okay. Anyway, Mama Bear.
Oh, Mama Bear, how you doing?
Asks, are there any symptoms that would indicate we need more iodine?
Excuse me. No music, just quick
Quick
relay, because I neglect this. Most of the time, especially I would say, especially in women, it's some kind of a thyroid issue. Because that's the first place I think. And I'm not a doctor, and I'm not up on all the diseases like maybe Ken Berry might be, and he would be he's done complete videos on iodine that are very informative from a doctor's point of view. A doctor who doesn't buy into 99% of the crap that they put out in the medical community. And but I have done a little looking into it. I wouldn't say heavy research, and the reason that I use iodine is because it's been shown, not because I had any symptoms, but because it's been shown to be good for organ health in general, and in men, especially prostate health. And if anybody asks me why I'm taking iodine, I would say, for me, my main concern is prostate health. There have been papers written. I don't know if there really been any meaningful long-term studies about its effects, But organs in general benefit from iodine. As far as symptoms of low iodine, I don't, I can't answer that. I'm not familiar. But if you're a man getting closer and closer to 80 years old like I am, the odds are 80% that you have some degree of what they call BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. That's a fancy way of saying an enlarged prostate. The prostate, it's not cancer, but the prostate, like a lot of things on our bodies as we get older, just grow. They just grow. Look at the ears on a 100-year-old man. They look like Dumbo, for God's sakes. Look at the noses on these old men. Look at my nose. My nose gets bigger every couple of years. I notice it a little bigger every couple. My ears get bigger every couple of years. It's just some things on your body happen to grow. Why? Who knows? There must be a reason. It's not important enough for me to try to figure it out. But it's been said, and my attitude is, well, so far my prostate's hanging in there. I'll be 78 years old my next birthday. Most men my age are already having to take Flomax or some other kind of drug, which has horrible side effects. Just that's what the urologists, that's the first thing they throw at you. They want to do surgery on your prostate. They don't think about any natural ways to maybe slow down the enlarging prostate, but it's a disease that virtually every old guy I know is complaining about. And you hear them talking about it all the time. I can't believe I got to get up 5 times every night to pee, and I got to stand there for 10 minutes until I can get it started. And it's BPH, and it's just something that happens to older men. And I'm taking 2 drops of iodine every day, and so far, so good. And as long as things keep working, I'm not going to, I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I think, and I don't want to come off as being sexist, but there are certain conditions and things that women have a greater percentage of problems with than men. And I think thyroid and the need for either thyroid hormone replacement or increasing their iodine. But watch Ken Berry's video on that. I'm sure it's very good. And if I haven't answered your question, I'm sure somewhere in his video or in the references he puts in his descriptions, you'll find the answer to that, Mama Bear. Good question.
Okay. That's a good point to bring out, that we tend to think of iodine with the thyroid, but there are all of our cells. And a lot of cells.
We need it everywhere, and we don't get nearly enough of it because the soils they grow the plants have been raped. They don't have the iodine. If the plants don't have the iodine, then the animals will not get the iodine, and when we eat the animals, we won't get the iodine. Everything comes up through the chain, and it pretty much all starts in the soil at one form or another.
Yes. Okay, Carl Fabian asks, do you think the small amount of carbs in sausage is negligible? I've been mostly beef and bacon, but thinking about adding it.
That depends on the sausage, and that's the answer. Depends on the sausage. So you really need to look at the label and the ingredients, and instead of just lumping it all together into a category called sausage. I mean, there's some sausage out there that's got so much sugar in it, it'd be absurd. There's some sausage out there that have so many spices in them that you got to start worrying about whether the toxins in the plant that the spices come from are going to cause you a problem. So the variables in sausage are I wouldn't say infinite, but there's a lot of different ways. So you need to find what we seem to refer to or use the word clean sausage, and the basic sausage would be perfect. That would just be ground up meat stuffed in an intestine, which is the natural casing. I wonder how many people realize when they see natural casing that they're talking about an intestine.
You never know.
I always wondered that. Always wondered that. Uh, that's the thing when you bite into a sausage that makes it go pop. You know, it's
Mhm.
a membrane. It's a membrane. It's like it's made out of collagen. It's made out of the same stuff that when you peel that membrane off the back of a rack of ribs,
Mhm.
you're and every
Yes.
barbecue chef tells you got to peel it off. You got to peel it. You're getting rid of something that's very healthy for you. And when it's cooked, it goes pop when you eat it, and it has a good flavor too. I used to, but I never take those membranes off right anymore. And the only reason you might want to take a membrane off is because you're putting so many spices and rubs and sugar. You want them to get to the meat. Well, if you're not putting all that crap on your ribs, if you're just putting a little salt on top, you don't care whether the membrane keeps them out of the bottom. And my ribs come out perfect without all that stuff. And I've developed a taste for those where I like my ribs with none of that stuff on it better than all the barbecue sauces and sugar laden rubs, spices, and all that stuff that we use when we make meat to make it more like candy that we're addicted to. So uh, I've wandered again, Ellen. I've wandered
Yeah.
again.
Oh,
What was that? Bring me back. Bring me back to where I
that,
started.
that's okay. We
Oh,
were
sausage. We were talking about sausage.
sausage.
Yes,
Yes.
sausage is great.
And
The
carbohydrates, I think he was
okay,
concerned about. But as you said,
carbohydrates.
you really have to look at the brand.
You have
And
to look at the label. A sausage can't have carbohydrates unless they add something with them. So you're going to look for whether, and one of the biggest things they add to sausage and hot dogs and stuff is some kind of of soy because
yes,
they add it as a filler. They
yes.
add it as a filler because it's so much cheaper than meat. So you want to make sure you have no fillers in your sausage. That's probably the biggest thing because if you're going to get carbs, it's going to be from fillers or sugars, which they don't put on the package. They don't label it as sugar. They label it as natural flavors, natural flavoring. Avoid anything that says natural flavoring on it if you can,
Oh, yes.
or if you can't figure out what they're talking about. Uh, you might not have a sausage. I mean, I know, for example, fennel is a spice that is very commonly used in sausage, and that's a plant material. A little bit of that probably wouldn't hurt you, but the biggest thing is to make sure it's as clean as you can, and they've added as little stuff. And unfortunately, the things that make these sausages and hot dogs taste so good are all the spices they put in. So be wary of what you're eating. But no, a lot of people eat sausage. You eat bacon too. Bacon has a small amount of carbs. Even though the label may say 0, it means less than half. And I would look at that and hope they're honest in their labeling. And when you buy a sausage, look at the serving size. And the serving size should say one sausage. If a serving size says, you know, a tenth of an ounce of sausage, then you know it's loaded with crap. Uh, but if the serving size says one sausage and the carb count says 0 or maybe 1, yeah, you could get away with it. You could get away with it. And you just have to watch out. Anything you eat that you're not sure of, you can probably eat it with no problem unless it triggers a craving, and that's what you need to be very careful and wary of. So eat the sausages and then be cognizant of what happens to you in the hours following. Is my mind wandering to candy bars and donuts? Because that's a clue that something in that thing you just ate kind of tickled your subconscious and said, hey, remember this? Remember sugar? Remember how you used to love it? And off you go. And it can be something as inconsequential as that actually sabotages your whole entire efforts. But no, if it doesn't bother you, you don't have to be a Nazi on carnivore. There are things you can eat as long as I think they don't load you up with carbs or toxic plant materials, and most importantly, don't trigger any cravings in you for carbohydrates. End of answer.
Okay, great. You want to take one more? It's
Yeah, let's do one more. It's
great.
9:30, and I'm having fun, and more people keep coming in, and this
For
is
me,
great.
I know the coffee shop as well. You know, it's just like the coffee shop is open and people are coming.
Yes.
Isabella from Croatia, beautiful Croatia,
Hello, Isabella.
says, "Hi, I am age 48 and thank God healthy, but I am too heavy. I know that I must lose weight. My doctor wants me on statins and GLP-1. I'm
Oh my
ignoring
God.
that so far. When I eat carnivore, I don't lose weight though. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's
she did
not
say
an uncommon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say she just added here in the comments that she's been on, because I asked her, she's been on carnivore doing this for about a year, although she struggled with, like many of us with, binging and
Okay.
staying on it.
So
But it sounds like she's doing pretty well though, for making.
okay. Well, obviously, and I don't want to be a hard ass about it, but obviously not well enough. And I talk so much about not cheating. And in order for this to work, you can't cheat. She's probably doing dirty carnivore or carnivore-ish. Well, I'm carnivore-ish. There's no such thing. No such thing. Sorry. Sorry. If you're a raving carb addict like me, and it sounds like you and I are in the same boat, because I lived that life for 75 years. No matter what diet that I ever went on, I always sabotaged it. It was always the carb addiction. And it always started out as the cheating. If somebody's been on pure strict carnivore like me and hasn't lost weight in a year, it means they have some serious metabolic condition that needs to be looked at, or else you have to resign yourself and say, well, I'm broken. I'm broken. I have so destroyed my metabolism over the course of life. But at 48 years old, I can't see that. I can't see that. So the sad fact and the hard truth of it is that it's going to be hard for you to lose weight. I don't know if you're diabetic. I don't know if you ever had your insulin or C-peptides checked. If you don't know if you're what they call hyperinsulinemic. Hyperinsulinemic. If you are, you can't lose weight. Your physiology won't let you. That insulin will keep you in what they call fat storage mode. It will not allow your fat cells to give up that fat. It will only work to take the sugar that you eat and turn it into fat. And in extreme cases, it even has pathways to turn some of the protein you eat into fats. So be wary. You may be one of these people that just like Michaela Peterson and some other people, there's a reason why you must give up everything else. The good news is if you do that, it won't take you long to get used to it and kill those cravings. But obviously, if you're still having cravings after a year on carnivore, you're not doing what's necessary to kill the cravings first. You're focused on that scale. I'm sure you get on that scale every morning. Weight loss, by virtue of the question you asked, is your goal. It is the reason you're doing this. That's the wrong reason. Wrong reason. The reason you're doing this is to fix all the stuff that's responsible for the fact that you've been trying for a year and you haven't made it yet. Now, I say all this and I'm being hard on you, but it's not just you. It's most people who start carnivore and even do it or try to do it for a long period of time aren't successful, because you can't do it halfway. You're trying to do what turns out to be dirty carnivore or keto with cheating. It just doesn't work. You have to cure that addiction, and the only way to do that is to do what I did, and that is just to go through that first 30 days of never letting yourself get hungry, eating constantly, not worrying about the scale. Most important thing, throw the friggin' scale away and just let your body heal and remember that it's supposed to be burning fat. Let your insulin levels stabilize by eating no carbohydrates. Okay, let your insulin levels stabilize, and that will allow your fat cells to start giving it up. There have been carnivores, and I can think of one offhand as a prime example of this, who have told me in comments that I've been faithfully following your advice, thanking me for saving their lives. And finally, after 90 days, started to lose weight. It can take that long, but one bite, one cheat would not have happened after 90 days. You have to give it time. You've spent most of your life creating this mess that you're in now. You can't solve it. You're lucky if you solve all of it in a year. But I went through the same thing you're going through, believe me. And I finally figured it out, and that's why I'm in here trying to spread this gospel of you can't do it halfway. And I use alcoholism and drug addiction as two prime examples, something people accept without questioning and know to be true, is that if you're a drug addict and you're an alcoholic, in order to fix it, you must abstain 100%. Not a drop of alcohol, not a snort of drugs, or else you won't fix a thing. Well, carb addiction is a much stronger addiction than either of those, and yet we still think we don't have to completely 100% abstain, at least until we get that addiction in remission. And then we got to be incredibly careful what we might add back in, because that can be triggered again and you're back to square one. And it happens. It's the reason why even with all the attempts at curing alcoholism is still increasing. With all the attempts at curing drug addiction, that people who've been in recovery, who've gotten off of it, who've stayed off of it, still think, well, maybe just a little bit, I'm fixed. You're never fixed. I am a carb addict. I'll be a carb addict until the day they plant me in the ground. I've accepted that, and I know I must abstain from carbs, because if I start experimenting, it won't end well. The good news, and there's always good news, and it's why I love this lifestyle so much, is that there's not a single reason in the world why I would eat any carbs now. I don't want them. I don't crave them. I don't think about them. They don't tempt me anymore. I have finally, after close to 2.5 years of no carbs, my subconscious has come to terms with it doesn't need this crap. There is a 0 gram daily nutritional necessity for carbs and fiber. 0 grams. We need none of that stuff. We never did. It was never available until recently in the quantities. It's never been marketed to us. We've never been tempted by it so much as we are today in the names of profits and marketing for the companies that make this stuff. So that's the best I can do for you, unless I knew everything about what you've been doing and you were completely honest with me and yourself. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Watch my videos on how to start carnivore for the first 30 days. Throw the scale away. Stop thinking about your weight. I know that's the most important thing because you're still young. You haven't had the health problems hit you like most of us who've gotten older have. But you're lucky. You're lucky. It's Isabella, right?
Isabella, yes.
Yes, Isabella, you're lucky. You're younger. You can fix this. You can benefit from it for many, many, many more years than I'll be able to benefit, only having figured this out at the age of 75 for me. So, in that respect, I envy you. I envy you. Stay at it. Stay at it. Go through that detox period, that 30 days, faithfully. Keep the food handy. Keep it cooked. Keep it ready to eat whenever you think. Don't worry about how many calories. If you even don't even know if you've gained a pound. Just don't even weigh yourself. It's meaningless. Meaningless at that point. And do that for 30 days. Do that for 30 days and you'll find that those cravings have diminished to the point where you can handle them. And if they're still bugging you, keep not allowing yourself to get hungry. It's the only way to fix this. And do not, I can't tell you not to take your doctor's advice, but you know how I feel about statins and GLP-1 agonists. You know how I feel about that. So imagine how I feel about that if you don't know. All right, Ellen, that was great. That was great. And of course, that took 10 minutes for me to answer as usual, and that's good.
That was
and
a
that's
big
good.
question. That was a big question.
It was a great question, and it's something so many of us experience. And the one hard reality, which is so unfortunate, is that with all the carnivore people on YouTube, and there's more and more of them every day, I'm telling you, I can't believe the number of people who think that they need to start a YouTube channel to tell people that they ate meat and it worked. Okay, good. It's okay. I think it helps. It's what Ken Berry told me the day I asked him, does YouTube really need another carnivore influencer? And he said, you can't have too many. But they come and go. The diets come and go. Most people who started carnivore didn't do it right. And now they run around telling people, well, I tried that carnivore and it just didn't work. Well, of course it didn't work. You didn't do it right. It's simple as hell, but not as simple as people might think, because they think that, well, I ate more meat. Well, that's not what it takes to kill that carb addiction. And if carb addiction is your problem, this is the way to fix it. If you're maybe one of the lucky 20% of the human race now on this planet that is not addicted to carbs, strong enough that you have to do this, then you're the lucky one. But the reason you're not addicted to carbs, and the reason you didn't develop a carb addiction, is something in your physiology that never had you craving carbs in the first place. And I have that same thing with alcohol with me. People say, have a drink, Mitch. No, I don't drink. Oh, are you a recovered alcoholic? Believe it or not, Ellen, that's the first thing they ask me. I said, no, I was not an alcoholic.
Really?
I never liked or wanted the stuff. I have no craving. I have no desire to drink it. I don't like it. I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I've certainly had, drank it in the past, gotten my ass drunk as hell when I was young. I didn't like that. I didn't like hangovers. I didn't like throwing up all over the place. I just can't see a reason to do that. I don't have it yet. Most people can't live a day without a drink. They may not be really alcoholics, but they got to have that drink. There's something in it that they see. It didn't happen to me, but I'm the rare one. And those people who have the same feelings about sugars and carbs that I have about alcohol are the rare ones. And I am thankful and happy that I never felt the need to have a drink for any reason. And those people who aren't carb addicts are not binging. They're not buying this food. They don't want it for some reason, and they're lucky. But we can't do what they do, and they're the ones that are giving us diet advice because they think it's easy. And that's why I don't give alcoholics advice, because I can't know the things that they're feeling that drive them to ruin their life, their family, their finances, and end up homeless in a tent because they can't live without putting alcohol in their bodies. I can never understand that, and a non-carb addict can never understand what it's like to not be able to fight that irresistible subconscious urge that trumps all rational thought to keep eating stuff that we now know for a fact is not good for us and is the reason why we're sick and fat. So don't take advice from somebody that isn't a carb addict on how to fix it. period.
Wow, that was great there at the end, and what a great analogy to the carb addiction with the AA, and that's so true.
And I use that, and
Some
even with
people
AA,
don't understand what you're
what's their success rate? If you really had the statistics, what's the success rate of Weight Watchers, for example? How many people who paid Weight Watchers money have cured their weight problems for life? Any? Is any? How many of the people who went through the Biggest Loser competition on television are now skinny and healthy? Any of them? No, none of them. They never fixed the root cause. They never even knew what the root cause was. That's why I work so hard. That's why I sit here. That's why I sit here. And the sun is coming out, and it's a glorious day, and we're already into the second hour of this, and I got a live stream this afternoon, and we're going to do more of the same. So come on back and be with us. Great to see. We had a good attendance this morning. We still got 120 some people and 18 over there on Rumble. Thank you all. Let me bring Ellen in. No more questions today, Ellen. Maybe the safe.
All the questions of the day, but
We've got 2 hours this afternoon. We've got 2 hours, and we'll address. We can't have too many questions. I think that makes these things more useful.
Yeah.
So thanks, Ellen.
You're welcome. So I know I have this page of questions.
Holy
so if
cow!
you have asked a question in the past and it hasn't been answered, we'll get to it.
Yeah, get to that first. We can get to a few of those older ones before we get to the new ones from this afternoon. Let's make sure we try to answer all the questions. And thanks.
Because your questions are important. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
I agree. I agree.
Great day, and maybe we'll see you later, or hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully. It's going to be a gorgeous day here. I'm going to go in after this. I'm going to get out of this sweatshirt, get back into my normal attire of shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm going to have a great Saturday. So, Ellen, thanks so much, and I will see you this afternoon. And don't let me forget to send you the link for that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that leaves me and my cigar. I wish I could finish my coffee, but I already did. So thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for coming. I think this went very well today, and thanks for hanging in there with me to the end. I'm going to end this as I usually do. I'm going to bring in a little happy music. I'm in a great mood. I'm always in a great mood after these live streams. Give you a minute, say goodbye to everybody in the chat while I relight my cigar. There you go. I didn't smoke very much of this cigar today. I don't usually smoke a lot of the cigar during these streams, but thank you so much for coming. Thank you all. I want you to have a great day, and I hope to see you this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And until then, take the rest of the day off. That is Saturday. And eat meat.